this video will review some of the questions that you might have for resizing frames, placing things in, opening up a Photoshop document, and just getting to work, I guess, for I assigned a final project, and I'm hoping that most students can navigate. But if you struggle, there might be some things that you might be missing. So here is the video. I'm going to just open up a brand new Photoshop document, and I'm going to name it last name, or the point is put your last name in and then underscore, and I'll just do animation. Okay, and you can turn these off if you don't want to see some of these extras, like I don't want to see the grid, and I'll go ahead and I'm going to do a file or an image canvas size. I might want that to be 10 by 16. Say okay. Command 0 to make it fit to page. I've got my timeline below here for the animation. The next thing is I want to make sure that this image size isn't too big. The resolution is 200, which is just about right. You can always make that 150 just to bump it down a little. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is start opening images from here. Make sure your layers file is immediately available. Window, layers, bring that over here. I do know that I'm going to open up an image, doing a Command O or a file open, and then I'm going to navigate to that image. Let me see here. See if I can come up with an image here. We'll just do clouds. So it opened an image and it opened it in Photoshop in a different tab. So what I want to do is I want to copy that over to my screen. So I'm going to move the tab over and make sure that I can see everything. Go to my move tool, make sure I'm in the move tool, and move that image right onto this other document. And then I'm going to, I assume this is sort of some of the questions that was some people were wondering. Then it creates a new layer over the background, and then we're going to want to scale that. We don't want to just try and pull at it. One of the things that's easy to do is scale, and you'll find scale under, let's see, under Edit, Transform, Scale. So you will then edit, transform, scale, and then it will come up with the bounding box. And to keep the proportions, you will hold down Shift, click, and drag. There we go. And then double click on it to set that into place. And remember, if you're working with the background, is not going to allow you, it's kind of a locked. If you want to unlock that and make it just a layer, you can double click it and allow it to just, you can always name it background and say okay. Or another way to do that is to just hit Command J to make a copy, and then you can, not see that one if you're working with an image here that you might want to copy and work with. This way you always have a backup image in case something happens. All right, so you've got, and then you can always shut them off and not have them seen. And when you go to flatten your final work, which is up here, which is probably something you want to do, flatten, that brings your file size down quite a bit, but it flattens it all together as one piece of artwork. Right now it's a PSD file, which is a layered file, so we saved it initially. Let's go ahead and go and do a file save as, and PSD is a layered file, and layered files are good to have on hand just in case you make a mistake. And then you end up flattening, you can always go back to that layered file. So where? Desktop. I'm going to save that one more time just to make sure we have the latest version saved. And then, I can do anything. If I want to grab an put in a gradient, I can most definitely add a gradient. You can go to the window, let me see, if I view that, I can then throw in a gradient if I wanted, you know, just by double clicking, making sure that's not a non-visible layer, and then pulling your gradient out. And then of course you can adjust what your gradients look like here. It depends. I can change that most definitely to a different bright crazy color. And then I can also do file, open, and then you can then look for another image that you might want to place on top. I have some of these images available still on my desktop. We'll just open the same one again. Okay, so this does open into a new file again. So that new file has a layer. You can take the layer and drag and drop it right onto the old file. And then you can see sort of what's, you've got a smaller one. And then do another scale, edit, transform, scale. Of course, edit, transform, rotate. You've got those options as well. I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to double click it. And then of course you can add any kind of, you can go up to filter, filter, and add a filter to it if you want, distort, pixelate, sharpen, stylize, or you can always just play around here too. Let's do a, see if multiply does anything. There you go. Some cool images, options. You know, if you want to have the layers just select when you select the image, you can select auto select. These are just some basic navigation help. So when I click on a layer, sometimes I don't like it selected because when I'm trying to do something with one image, I sometimes inadvertently keep clicking on the other one. So these are just some helpful tips for you. Command J is to copy a layer, and that's control on the PC, so control J to copy a layer. Remember, you can always place in images if you want, place linked or place embedded, but my personal opinion is to open the file and then drag it and drop it right over. Now, if there's a certain aspect of the other file that you want to copy over, here's what you would do. You would do that control or command O to open up a new image. Let's open clouds again. Then I've got this, and let's say you wanted only a select portion of the image to copy over. Just have to make sure that you see both of these files. Sometimes they're tabbed up here. Remember, when you hover over, you can see that they tab together, just like that. Well, if you want to drag and drop them, that won't work unless you move them apart. So I now have this. Make sure you're in the move tool then, and you move this over, drag it, and drop it right onto this other. See, and now I've got it auto select. So I may not want auto select if I'm trying to target that one image right here. There we go. And then we'll do another scale. Edit, transform, scale, or you can also do a free transform, which allows you to scale. And then if you hover, rotate, double click to set that, to confirm your actions. And then Command Z if you don't like what you've done. Command Z, Option Command Z to back up in history for undoing. If you don't like what you've done, edit, transform, scale again. Hold down the Shift key to scale it proportionately. Okay. There. And then I like my auto select sometimes. Okay, so this one I'm going to play around. Excuse me. Darken. This one. I like to kind of see the effects that it gives. Some interesting, cool effects. So that's just some a small little helpful guide to you. Of course, this gives a bunch of cool little quick effects, but you also have your adjustments under Window Adjustments, where you can click on any one of these and adjust the levels, how light and bright some of these images are, and then color balance, brightness, and contrast, all the things we worked with this term to add to these images. Another part you do want to refer back to my other video for how you add in the animation, but this is how you might place and move images, which I hope you're getting much more familiar with at this point at the end of the term. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.